About 500 police mobile force men have been deployed to the commercial city of Aba to restore peace in the troubled city. Earlier, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, the IG Operations, Taiwo Lakanu, had said, while on duty, told to Aba that the mobile policemen had assumed duty and that the whole place is quiet as the policemen are on patrol. My guests in the studio are making sense of the military and the legal perspectives to a declaration of a group as a terrorist. IPOB has been declared a terrorist. That's the developing story we've been following for you on Channels Television. The group has come out to say they are not terrorists, they do not carry arms. And that is how the federal government of Nigeria sees that group. We'll take the conversation further. Retired Colonel Hassan Stanlabo, former military officer in Nigeria, and Mr. Liberos Oshoma, a legal practitioner in Nigeria and a political analyst, have been weighing in on this matter. Well, now, you before we went on that break,
yes, right.
You were going to say whether or not the military has done enough or they haven't.
Thank you, Sean. Let me say this: the level of information or the amount of information before government is not available to we ordinary folks on the streets. And most of this information at times borders within national security, their intelligence, which may not be divulged to the public. The point I'm trying to drive home here is this. Government is gradually beginning to learn its lessons. These were the sort of mistakes we made until Boko Haram became as hydra-headed as it was, to a point that we could not contain it.
So you're making the same mistakes?
Just excuse me. It got to a point whereby even the authorities that ought to react were rather reading a different meaning into it, be it political or whatever. And there was a need now. By the time we came in, it was already late. El Zakzaki in Zaria started a very funny thing. Okay? If you know Zaria very well, nearly half of Zaria was under his control. And he was getting larger than life. It became necessary to curb his excesses before we have another Boko Haram in our hands.
Colonel,
today we have done that.
Just a moment, Colonel. Just a moment. Let me show you a dictionary meaning of the word terrorist. He does, dictionary did give us this, say, a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims. It went further, it goes further to say 4 commercial aircraft, that's an example, were hijacked by terrorists. So other meanings to the word terrorist could be a bomber, arsonist, incendiary, and the adjective to that word would be unlawfully using violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims, describing a terrorist organization. If you look at that again, if you look at this word, Colonel,
yeah.
Does this really fit into what IPOB represents?
It talked about violence. Did it? Did it talk about violence or not? Is IPOB a violent group or it's not a violent group? Does IPOB look like a peaceful group to you?
Okay, let's allow the lawyer to come in into
it. It talked about arms, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
good.
All right. For time, I did say I will outline, I don't want to talk about problems so much, but I can tell you that if 50 years after the Civil War, if 50 years after Biafra, if 50 years after independence, the agitations, the fears of the minority that led to the Willings Commission of 1957 are still here with us today, it means that we have not addressed those problems that led to the Biafra War. And so, if you remember when the president went for his first medical vacation in London this year, the agitations were rife. But it took the statesmanship of the then acting president, the current vice president. He visited these places. He walked on the street of Yenagoa. He visited Owerri. He visited Umuahia. What did he do? What he simply did was to give a sense of belonging.
What would you have suggested that the president? What would I have suggested that the federal government? What manner would you have suggested that the federal government?
There is agitation in the southeast that this government had consistently neglected the Southeast. Whether you like it or not, the activities of the present government also had laid credence to all of these, that people, who didn't even want to listen, started, counting also. And so what stopped the federal government from addressing a stakeholders meeting in the Southeast to say, look, all of these rumors and misgivings are not true.
What about the representatives in the National Assembly?
Excuse me.
Is that not the fault?
Do you know that in Nigeria, what you have as a Nigeria is a big local government where everybody look up to the center. That is why if there's no water in your area now, you call on the federal government to come to your rescue because the federal government takes so much.
So you're saying that the federal government should have met with IPOB or...
No. What did Oshibanjo do when Buhari first traveled? He didn't meet with IPOB, but he went on the streets to relate to the people. He met with the political office holders. And so in the same vein, what stopped the government from having a stakeholders forum in the Southeast? Blame those that you need to blame, and then promise those that you know that you can achieve.
Okay.
And then it's all work in progress. I'm running up quickly. We have never been this divided the way we were in the last election. And after the election, rather than the president now unifying everybody, he started making statements that further divided us. And all of these are fallouts of those statements. And that's why you have all of this.
Colonel, going forward, because of our time now.
Yes, I know we don't have time.
What is the implication? Now a terrorist group, how would the federal government be handling this group?
The entire weight of our national counter-terrorism strategy will be brought to bear on them. Okay? And I was just trying to quickly react to him under some seconds, please.
It won't kill the ideology.
All the
grievances solve the problem.
I understand.
For 50 years, it didn't.
I understand you. You see, all the grievances expressed by both IPOB or even the entire East, there is today a window of opportunity within which these grievances could be addressed. And what is that?
Is the government addressing it?
Restructure.
Is the government addressing it?
Just a minute. I'm heading there.
We need to close in 30 seconds.
You will make them become irrelevant.
We need to close in 30 seconds. We need to close in 30 seconds, please. If you just,
and it will be my closing remarks.
Please, go ahead, please.
I'm saying we have that ambit of opportunity in restructure, okay, to address these issues. Fine. What is wrong in IPOB? I don't want to say the entire East, because frankly speaking, most Igbos don't even buy into this idea of IPOB or Biafra. What is wrong in you articulating whatever you think are the issues and bring them to the table?
My closing.
All right. Just let me allow Mr. Liberals.
And it is important that I advise Northerners up there, please not to, or to ensure that they protect the Igbos.
All right.
Because we are seeing what is happening now.
We need to go
whereby Hausas are being targeted.
Just
Northerners up north to make sure they protect
Mr. Liberals. We need to
protect them against any attack.
We need to allow Mr. Liberals
quickly.
Just a statement because we were out of time.
Please, you find out that all of these agitations leads to one thing, that the current structure as presently practiced is not sustainable. And so we need to do something about it. Otherwise, 50 years from now, you will still have this agitation.
Thank you so much.
And military force will not end it.
The conversation will continue right after here, but that's how far we can go. Many thanks, retired Colonel Asen Stan Lambo and Mr. Liberals Oshoman. That's our show for today. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Sean Akimbale. Bye for now.